Yo, how's it going, guys? This is Unblazoned here. Welcome back to my first, actually, Destiny 2 video here on the channel. I have had a lot of streams here, but this is my first actual video, and it's going to be my first build video, and hopefully more to come. I couldn't resist on doing a build on this video just simply because of how broken it is. There's no surprise to a lot of the Destiny community about what this video is about just by seeing the thumbnail and just by understanding on just how good this build is. This is the Solar Titan build, the bonk build, as many people know. It has been the rave the last 3 seasons talked about consistently, especially season 15, season 16, season 17. It's been really talked about. Season 15 really saw an increase about the 1-2 punch build, which I used to use back then, and it was absolutely disgusting, and I loved it. That's really what started me playing this game, was seeing how cool Titan was and just how amazing that build was. And 2, season 16 honestly did really nerf the build into the ground. Protective Light was nerfed. Then we also saw the nerf of 1-2 punch, and the hammers, they no longer stacked, which really hurt my heart because I had been playing that for an entire season, and Season of the Lost was a hefty season. So, I honestly became very attached to that build. But everyone was wondering, like, what's going to be next for Solar 3.0? Like, what is Hammer Titan going to bring to the table? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? And it is definitely amazing. I fell in love with Titan again. 1 is the resilience buff, 2 Solar 3.0, and it's just everything together just makes this build top tier. Now, this is currently a Master Nightfall. I'm currently soloing it by myself, and I'm just running through every single enemy I fight. Nothing can kill me. 3 times restoration. I am literally unkillable. Now, you may be looking at the bottom left and be like, I only see 2 times restoration. I don't know what you mean. Well, you'll find out in the video. It's just absolutely disgusting how powerful this build is. You literally will not die. Like, you can have multiple enemies shooting at you, and you just tank it. Like, this is just, you face tank any challenge up in your face. You literally just take Destiny as a whole and you just throw a hammer at it. That's literally what this build is. There's nothing too difficult. A lot of people claim like Hammer Titan is like some wizardry. I've seen a lot of Titan builds. I've made a lot of Titan builds, and this build is by far the second best build I've ever made. First is going to 1-2 punch. Of how disgusting it was in season 15 was insanely broken, but unfortunately it just no longer exists. But yeah, this is definitely the second best Titan build in the game. Essentially survivability, sheer just raw DPS in almost every situation, and just you take complete control. You can do any content you really wish solo. There's nothing hard about any of this. Like, I literally just breezed through this Master Nightfall. Like, it was not difficult at all. In under 5 minutes, I'm already in the next room, about to get the unstoppables and get the charges. It's really not hard at all. Anyone can do this build. It's super fun. It's super simple. Like, all these, nothing I do in this video is mind blowing. I stay consistent with this build. I have stayed consistent with Hammer Titan. I was ready to give it up in season 16 with how bad it was with the survivability, without 1-2 punch. It was just not that good. But this season it came back, and it is just insane. So the way that this build works is honestly quite simple. First, we'll start off with the subclass. Most of it is probably pretty simple. Yeah, Burning Maul is a super simply because it now does 25% more damage in PvE, so I kind of like it. Rally Barricade simply because has smaller cooldown with classy restoration this season. It's just really good. Honestly, like, once the season is over and classy restoration is no longer a thing, it won't really matter, but I just like the smaller cooldown because I really don't use it to protect myself because I'm basically invulnerable anyways. Spirit doesn't matter. Throwing hammer is obvious. Now, Healing Grenade I really like because when you're all up in the midst of the enemies, you're really up close. And so just throwing down a Healing Grenade will not damage you like other grenades will, because you try to throw a grenade when you're in the thick of battle and you're right in front of them, you might die. So this is just a great way to heal yourself and just stay alive longer if you ever feel like you're gonna die. Aspect Soul Invictus. Soul Invictus is just a no-brainer. There's no reason to use Consecration because our melee is the hammer. We want the hammer. And Roaring Flames just so we can buff the hammer and its damage. And Fragments, there's 2 that are a must. Empyrean, Solar ability, Weapon or ability Final Blows extend the duration of Restoration and Radiant. So every time I get a hammer kill, if I have Restoration and Radiant, they both go back up to their cooldown, just like at the start of the timer. And then Torches, powered melee attacks make you Radiant. It's like, that's just a must. Like Radiant 24/7 is really useful if you ever lose your hammer and just need to get some quick kills with your weapons. Like I normally use Cartesian Coordinate, Drain, or a Callous Mini Tool to get my easy kills if I ever keep. I'm always Radiant, so I never have to worry about that. I just use this because I want my resilience to stay at 100. You honestly could swap this out for Ember of Singeing, which is your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets. You can scorch them with your melee. Your uncharged melee scorches targets, or sunspots, because you're making a ton of sunspots and they scorch targets. So that would be really useful. I would use that if you feel like you're good on resilience. And then also Ember of Solace, Radiant, and Restoration effects have increased duration, which is really good. Just so you can not have to worry about anything, like if you feel like you're going to run around Restoration too fast, because I think it's like the base cooldown's 8 seconds. So I think it bumps it up to 11, which is really nice and just makes you feel a lot more comfortable with not having to worry about throwing down anything else. So that is the subclass. Weapons, the only thing that matters is Tractor Cannon or Salvation's Grip. I personally like Tractor Cannon more just because it's a flat out 30% debuff all around. Although Salvation's Grip, as you see in the gameplay, is really useful for just good ad clear. Like you can simply throw down a crystal right on top of the sunspots and boom, it's just shatter damage goes everywhere. So it's really fun. It's honestly like I feel like uses for lower tier content or just if you want to have fun. But like just max damage Tractor Cannon is the way to go. And for the stats, I mean Resilience is a no-brainer. It's just that broken. Plus you get your Barricade as fast as possible. And Discipline just so you can get your Healing Grenade up as fast as possible if you ever need it. Other stats you could go into is like Recovery. Intellect, Strength, and Mobility don't really matter for this build. I do have a really chunky Intellect build with my Syntheseps. I'm hoping to get a better one soon. But for the helmet, we have Hands-On, just so we can get we can get our Burning Maul super as fast as possible. And one reason for this is not because we really want to use the super, but it's in case we ever mess something up and we need to get our hammer back really quickly. And 1-2 finisher, every time you get a finisher, your melee is restored. So it's really helpful if you accidentally throw your hammer off a cliff or it just literally disappears in front of your face. Very simple, very easy way to get your hammer back. Other than that, I just have like Elemental Light. I just get a well if I get a super kill, which is nice. Just another way to make wells even while in your super. Because sometimes if you're in your super and you feel like you're gonna die, getting a kill in your super will proc a well, and that's good survivability. Next is you just want to put like any champion mods that you need or reloaders that you would like. I'm just using hand cannon currently. Now Protective Light's not really useful now, but I do like it simply because it's just another 10% damage resistance. So instead of like the base 40% when you're fighting against enemies, you get 50% if you ever get red barred, which is really good and really helpful. So I have Protective Light just to back up in case. Plus I don't need Strength. It's a stat penalty I can live with. So I'm always getting my hammer back no matter what. And Strength is never involved. So that's really good. And then for our armor, really just want to go with Armor of the Dying Star here. And then Arc Resistance if you have a lot of arc stuff. And then Melee Wallmaker. Every time you get a melee Final Blow, it gets a well with your same subclass energy type, which is really helpful. So you can go on to the next one, which is our legs, which is Well of Life. Every time you pick up a cellular elemental well, you grant increased regeneration for a short period of time. So it's really helpful. I really like this, just simply because it helps us get not only restoration from this mod, but it also stacks on top of classy restoration. So you're basically getting 3 times restoration when you play this. You get 2 times restoration when you do this, but you also get Well of Life with this healing as a healing buff. and it will just continually heal you, and you are basically unkillable. 3 times restoration, there's no way you're gonna die. Unless you just get, like 1 tap and like a GM or something. But it is really helpful for in any case. You are basically invulnerable. There's very hard for you to die. Yeah, but other than that, like you just put like a scavenger mod if you need. Classy restoration, of course. It's just simply, yeah, just that good. There's really not much going on with this build. Again, this build just revolves around you and your hammer. You throw your hammer 24/7. You really aren't using any of your other guns besides Cracking Cannon. And it's like so overpowered. And what makes this build so fun? Like, you may be thinking, like, you've seen, other builds and you're just like, oh, this is just a Titan build. And if you've never tried this build out, I promise you will like this build, simply because just the sheer fun factor it has. Like, you don't have to use any of your weapons. You can just go around and throwing hammers at everything. It's fun. Like, that's what inspired me to try Titan in the first place. I didn't even know Titan was going to be broken, but it is. Like, just look at how broken this is. It's insane. I just love Titan. I will forever be a Sunbreaker main. Sunbreaker is who I am. It's so fun. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and also just want to do a quick shout out to my friend, my best friend, Lt.CrackinCheeks, who does my thumbnails. You've seen him for like the past month or 2. If this is your first video, I welcome you, and I hope you subscribe. And I also hope you subscribe to my friend as well, because he's done a lot of work. Every single time I've asked him to do a thumbnail, he's been very happy to do so, and his thumbnails are great. And they'll only get better, and he'll only, start getting paid if you subscribe to me. But yeah, I thank you for watching this video, and let's hope to see some more Titans out there with the hammer build. Bonk out, boys.